Hello, Fire Fam. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze because we understand that a better tomorrow is possible. These systems of oppression can be defeated. They can be taken down. But guess what? It's going to take us to do it. And guess what? The good news is there's more of us than them. There are more of the oppressed than there are oppressors. So that is why it is imperative for us to ante up, organize up, and take them down. It's really that simple, honey. Just kill it with fire. Isn't that how a lot of things get cleansed away in the universe? It takes a bit of spark and a bit of flame, and then the ashes smolder. And then we can build anew. It's really that simple. it's that easy. Let's just keep watching the show and we will eventually get there. Hey gang, I just want to say welcome to all of our Fire Fan members, all of our people who watch us on the regular and who may be even joining us for the first time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please hit like and subscribe to the channel. We certainly appreciate it. We got a jam-packed show for y'all today. Okay. Yes, I'm still very fired up about the possibility of access to abortion going away, and it's not going to stop there. Women who have abortions could be criminalized to the extent that they may be charged with homicide if conservative Louisianans legislators get their way. Wouldn't that be nice? You get to be charged with homicide for your miscarriage or your abortion. Lovely. Oh, that's very comforting. It's a very comforting thought. Anyway. Also, the big thing that I want to get into tonight is going to be about the data on your phone. And this is specifically for people who have menstrual cycles and who ovulate. Guess what? Your phone is doing big snitching. Your phone is doing big snitching. Your phone is selling, well, maybe not your phone specifically, but there are people out there who are paying mega bucks to find out your ovulation calendar. Yay! Lovely, lovely. And what are they going to do with that information? Well, I want us to examine the ways in which the U.S. government is obtaining your personal health data from data brokers and the ways that this data can be weaponized specifically against pregnant people or people who can become pregnant to possibly either come find you, right? If they are able to de-anonymize your information. Imagine your state trooper or your local law enforcement knocking on your door, knock, 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 knock. Yeah, Miss Brown, according to our ovulation data on you, what? Excuse me? Don't think the shit is far-fetched, kids, because we are in new times. We are in, I won't say uncharted territory, but uncharted for us. For us. The us's that are currently walking this planet, I don't think have endured this, but anyway, let's get into that a bit later. I also want to get into, obviously, the COVID deaths. Speaking of government data that is being improperly tracked, COVID deaths have exceeded 1 million as of last week, gang, and I am troubled, very troubled at the lack of data collection that is happening. The United States is operating as though the pandemic is over, and we're seeing hospitalizations creep up, but we don't know how pervasive COVID is in the community because the CDC has the map is all green. It's all low transmission with some exceptions, clearly. But I think that the numbers they playing funny with the numbers. The math is not mathing. The math is not mathing. So I do have a nice COVID rant for us towards the end. And I do want us to also take a peek at what Chris Smalls, the president of the Amazon Labor Union, had to say at a congressional hearing last week, at a Senate hearing, where I'm not going to hold y'all. I'm going to tell y'all straight up in advance. We finna watch 5 minutes of Chris Smalls and a minute 30 of Tim Kaine bitch ass caping for Amazon, right? Tim Kaine sound like some of them incels talk about not all Amazon workers hate Amazon. Okay, nigga. Cool. Thank you, Tim Kaine. Jeff Bezos has noted your bootlicking contribution for the day from the Senate. Thank you so much. But before we even get started with any of that, guys, I want to say something real quick. Dawn, Afraid Not, I see you at the very, very top of the chat. She said, I was on fire this morning on the Remix Morning Show, and I wanted to address a couple of things. Let me preface this by saying, we're good, okay? BPM, we good. I know. You know, there has been some crucial conflicts personality-wise. That was not the case today. Jared, fuck it, I'm gonna throw Kalanji in there, even though he went on the show today. Jared, Kalanji, Kamal, ear doctor, all on the correct side of the issue. I want to take a moment to address a very small minority in the chat. Lord have mercy, a teeny tiny minority in the chat who felt it appropriate to don a cape for the likes of a Kevin Samuels. If you don't know who Kevin Samuels is, he is the very influential YouTuber who passed away last week unexpectedly. I think he was 57 years old. And prior to last week, I had only heard of Kevin Samuels, I think the week prior, after the clips of his show, when he said that women over 35, what was the word that he used, girls and guys? I can't remember, but basically undesired, leftovers. Yes, leftovers. And then the clip that we watched additionally on the Remix Morning Show, where he he went deeper into his explanation. He was specifically referencing Generation X women. Hi, that's me. And then he went over and said, hey, bitches over 35, fuck bitches over 40. You bitches is too mean. You bitches got too many demands. Trauma, yeah, we know we traumatized y'all in y'all teens and y'all 20s, but we don't care. We don't care because a man wants what he wants. A man wants what he wants. And there was a couple, let me emphasize this, just a couple of little birds in the chat chirping up some bullshit, right? Guys, let me be clear. And I think you all have been, I hope, watching this show long enough to know that when I critique manness, specifically black manness, and the reason I critique black man is because I'm black. I know some of y'all have questions, but I assure you, I came from 2 black parents and 4 black grandparents. Fuck with me, okay? I don't get this fucking yellow shit fucked up. I'm black. Okay, I'm black out here. I'm African American. Make no mistake, but I digress. So if I have any smoke for black men, it's because I am black woman, yes? And let's be clear. If you pay attention to what I say, gang, the smoke that I have is for who? Abusers, rapists, and enablers of abusers and rapists. Y'all have never in your life ever heard me get on some goofy shit about a man got to spend $200 on a date, or what's the other goofy shit that they talk about? Why do men cheat? I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. Let's be perfectly fucking clear. All that goofy dating conversation, it may be not goofy to you, but it is goofy to me, which is why I don't go there. But any smoke or critique that I have for my brubs, and I'm trying to be very specific here, it is for the rapists, for the sexual assaulters, for the domestic violencers, and for the people who are aware of the men who are committing these atrocities upon their partners or upon their families and who do nothing, right? Like, if you know that a man is abusing or raping or sexual assaulting women and you do nothing, that I have smoke for you also, right? But I don't hate black men, and I hope nobody could ever interpret that as the shit that I say as I hate black men. Y'all have never heard me say ain't no good enough black men out here. Y'all have never heard me say no goofy shit like that. Y'all have not. Y'all have not, and y'all won't, because I don't feel that way. I know that there are a lot of good brothers out here. There's a lot of responsible partners, fathers, sons, right? And I hope to God that all the men that we got checking in our chat tonight is one of them, okay? And I'm very confident in Latif. I'm very confident in Brother Pookiewood, Cape Socialist coming through from the continent. Let's go. Who else is in here? My mans. Where my mans? Is Louis Kang president? I hope Louis Kang is in here, Lou. Don't be mad at me, Lou Kang, because you know, at the end of the day, gang, if I ain't talking about you, if it does not apply, let it fly. And this morning in the BPM Remix Morning Show chat, there was a couple of hit dogs in there hollering. Ow, ow, ow! They was in there hollering. Because I guess I ran their leg over with what I had to say. They was in there hollering big time. So I just want this to be perfectly fucking clear, guys. And I saw a couple of them hit dogs in there hollering. Had to say some things about me being bitter. Let me be clear, okay? Let me be clear. I know for some, a tiny minority, but a vocal minority, a minority that perhaps gets too much attention, even from me in this moment getting too much attention. Let me just say this, guys. Like, for women who have these critiques, these very specific critiques about domestic violence and sexual assault, It's usually not born out of nothing, okay? So please don't require that women have to enumerate our traumas in order for what we say to be taken as valid or for what we say to be taken as truthful. Like I have told y'all too much of my fucking business as it is, okay? Like I've told way too much of my business out here on these YouTube streets, but the reason I do so just to let you know that, hey, some of this stuff I'm not talking it out my ass. It's because I survived this shit. Underline survived, okay? Like I was a survivor of DV and SA before I graduated high school, gang. Before I graduated high school. And listen, I'm not going to be gaslit into thinking that I'm the only one. No, 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 no. I'm not the only black woman who has had hands put on her by black men. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who had a misogynist for a dad. I'm not the only one, okay? I'm not the only one. And since the way that women who have my similar experience are shamed into silence, like, oh, you have daddy issues? Oh, you can't, you just be picking the wrong men. Why do you pick toxic men? Baby, why are there so many toxic men out here to be chosen? Okay? Niggas do not walk around with toxic masculinity on the t-shirts. They don't. They do not. They do not. So, I have resolved that I'm going to be a little bit more vocal about these things because, again, women who have had these experiences are too often shamed, socially shamed, familially shamed. You know what I'm saying? Well, you didn't have, no, nigga, I didn't have, okay? And please don't assume that everybody was out here with good dads and that everybody is out here encountering healthy people to have healthy relationships with. No, people are out here fucked up, okay? Fucked up. And I don't see the point in being quiet about that shit. And gentlemen, I love y'all to pieces. I want y'all. Come on, Tay. Tay said, listen, it's a gang we shouldn't be in. Tay, come on. Come on. And that's why, shout out to Latif, shout out to Pookie Wood. You know, and I believe this, Latif, I believe this about you. I believe that you are going to yoke up a little boy that comes sideways at your daughter. Yoke the fuck about that little boy. I'm not encouraging adult abuse onto children, but you got to check the shit out of these little boys while they're young so they do not grow up to be man-sized abusers and predators. I'm going to put a pin in that. And I just wanted to thank you all for your love, for your support, for paying attention, for hearing me, for seeing me. You guys know what it is. I ain't no fucking man hater out here. I hate bad men. Hate them. Hate them. Hate them to pieces. I hate them so bad. But if you a good bruv, you're not fucking toxic and gaslighting and fucking enabling and allowing abusive and misogynistic and misogynoirish shit in your space or around the women that you care about, and even especially the women that you don't fucking care about, okay? I appreciate you. I see you. I thank you. I thank you guys so much. Yes, come on, Big Till. Big Till says, I smash patriarchy all day, every day. Smash the shit out of it. Smash the shit out of it. Anyway, gang. Ooh, I had to get that off. I had to get that off of my chest, honestly, because sometimes I catch shit in the chat and I'm not able to address it in the moment, okay? Because, you know, we are an ensemble cast, and as a broadcaster, one of my priorities is to make sure that the show must go on, yes? So sometimes it's not appropriate for me to jump in with my 2 cents, especially if some shit is, you know, a little late or perhaps after the fact. But I just I wanted to be clear. I wanted to be really fucking clear while I had some time on today. All right, gang, let's get into our first segment, because if you thought that the Striketober, the extension that has been happening, basically we are coming up maybe at a year and some change with some of these major organizing and unionizing efforts across America, and they don't end there. Tunde, we're actually going to start with A2. Now we know that the Amazon Labor Union, got one in Staten Island and lost one in Staten Island. Now, my guess is that Amazon played dirty tricks with that second Staten Island warehouse election. Check the National Labor Relations Board for their unfair labor practices complaints against Amazon. But Christian Smalls, who's the president of the Amazon Labor Union, wanted to talk to senators, okay? And he testified in front of a Senate committee last week. Today is Tuesday. Was that Thursday? It might have even been Friday. Or maybe it was Friday. Maybe it was Friday. It's been recent. It has not yet been 7 days. But I want you guys to take a look at this because, and then we're going to watch the whole thing. Okay, we're going to watch the whole thing. And let me give you some preface. It is 5 minutes, but it is 5 minutes of Chris Smalls reading these niggas for filth to the extent that he was able to read them for filth, right? And I appreciate this about Chris Smalls. Chris Smalls didn't come in there trying to, describe the theory and the praxis, and that's not a diss, but I appreciate regular people talking regular language straight up and down, right? I respect that. Like the people, even if you are not so-called highly educated or possess an advanced degree or even possess a degree, okay, your ability to communicate effectively and clearly far exceeds that of what your actual education level is, right? There are plenty of highly educated folks that if they sat and explained something to you, you'd be like, I don't know what the fuck you just said, dog. Like I didn't understand any of that. But people who are able to communicate their points and their thoughts articulately, clearly, without any sort of vagueness about it, are probably the most effective communicators in my opinion, and I feel Chris Smalls did exactly that when dressing these niggas down, dressed them down. But anyway, don't listen to me. Listen to Chris Smalls testifying in front of a Senate committee, and listen. This is 5 minutes, gang. Worth it. It is worth it. Let's take a look. Well, 6 minutes. Worth it. It's worth it. Listen.
Thank you for having me. Well, first of all, I want to address Mr. Graham. First off, it sounded like you was talking about more of the companies and the businesses in your speech, but you forgot that the people are the ones who make these companies operate. And if we're not protected, and if the process for when we hold these companies accountable is not working for us, then that's the reason why we're here today. That's the reason why I'm here to represent the workers who make these companies go. And I think that it's in your best interest to realize that it's not a left or a right thing. It's not a Democrat or a Republican thing. It's a workers thing. It's a workers issue. And we're the ones that are suffering in the corporations that you're talking about, in the businesses that you're talking about, in the warehouses that you're talking about. So that's the reason why I think I was invited today to speak on that behalf. And you should listen because we do represent your constituents as well. So just take that into consideration that the people are the ones that make these corporations go. It's not the other way around. So as the current interim president of the Amazon Labor Union, who represent 8,300 workers in Staten Island, an independent worker-led union that won their election on April 1st. I'm going to tell you this. We organized for over a year. And throughout the course of that year, Amazon spent millions of dollars, as you mentioned, Senator Sanders. Myself, including a few other organizers, was arrested outside for organizing, arrested for delivering food to their coworkers. I wanted to reiterate that as well. The type of things that Amazon do, breaking the law, intimidation, these are real things that traumatize workers in this country. Thousands of workers across this country who are in the process of organizing, who have the desire to organize in the United States. We want to feel that we have protections. We want to feel that the government is allowing us to use our constitutional rights to organize. The notion that people in the united in this democracy will outmatch tyranny is the oldest American ideal. There's clearly defined legal process to do this, and workers like us have the rights protected by the First Amendment and the National Labor Relations Act. However, despite all of this, our victory in Staten Island was lauded. as newsworthy and inspirational for the thousands of workers across the country, hundreds of thousands of workers. And even though we may have won, we did everything right, pressuring Amazon to recognize our victory and comply with our legal obligation to meet us at the bargaining table. But Amazon is refusing to do so. As you mentioned, they're going to stall. They filed 25 objections, and they got the NLRB to move the hearing to a whole nother location. To me, it just sounds like the corporations have the control, and they control whatever they want. They break the law, they get away with it. They know that already, that breaking the law during these election campaigns won't be resolved during the election campaigns. So they purposely continue to break the law. For example, we filed over 40 ULPs in 11 months. Most of them, or quite a few of them, got merit for further action. Some of them even got injunctions. For example, Gerald Bryson was fired 2 years ago. Finally, 2 years later, over 2 years later, there's a 10J in motion for his reinstatement. Another prime example, Daquan Smith was fired by the company for organizing. He's still out of a job. He's living in a shelter right now. We raised money through GoFundMe. These are just a few examples, including myself, who's been out of a job for the last 2 years. I want to just end off by saying this. We need to pass the PRO Act so that workers are protected and workers are encouraged to organize. And if that don't work, I'm going to let you know right now that on behalf of the Amazon Labor Union and the hundreds of thousands of workers across this country, that we will continue to organize. And once again, I want to remind you that this is not a left or right thing. This is a working class issue. And the workers at the bottom are the ones who make these corporations go. Thank you.
Woo child, how often do you think that senators get told by a worker that, hey, these corporations that basically keep you here in power on Capitol Hill, they ain't shit. It's the workers that make them go. How often do you think these senators get told like that straight to their face? And I love the fact that Chris opened up his statement addressing Lindsey Graham, like, hey, bitch, no, I'm talking to your ass. you with all the mouth, Lady Lindsey, I'm talking to you. I got some things to say to you, Lindsey. And I appreciate that, per usual. But Chris brings up some salient points that I just want to reiterate, that the Amazon Corporation has not recognized the formation of the Amazon Labor Union. There is that. Who just read us some box? Infinite Content. What I forget? Infinite Content. Infinite Content always run me money when I forget shit. Hey, I know they have. Yes. Thank you, Infinite Content. Infinite Content reminds us that the Warrior Met coal workers in Alabama have been on strike for over a year. The state workers for Los Angeles County has gone on strike. Holy shit, that's a big fucking deal. SEIU in Los Angeles, 55,000 members authorized the strike, and we will come at people who fuck us. Come through, Infinite Content. Let's go. Yo! LA County is not ready for that, Slim. They're not ready for that. I am very excited about that. Thank you so much, Infinite Content, for sharing that information with us. That is wonderful news. Wonderful news. So there is that. Thank you. But getting back to the Amazon workers, I want you guys to hear from Virginia Senator Tim Kaine. You guys remember Tim Kaine? He was Hillary Clinton's running mate, right? What was wrong with that ticket? It was nice and white and diverse. They had a white man and a white woman. That's the diversity I'm here for. Or we get the fucking fake diversity with Kamala Harris. Good Lord. All right, let me stay focused. So Tim Kaine had a rebuttal for Chris Smalls. he couldn't understand why Chris Smalls was mad. He can't understand why Chris Smalls is mad. The stories of Amazon drivers having to urinate in bottles, or literally people dropping dead at the Bessemer, Alabama location, the warehouse there where 2 workers died in the same day. And Amazon did not shut down operations, not the notorious and well-documented stories of Amazon union busting efforts. No, 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 no. Tim Kaine said, not all Amazon workers. And you guys know, if it comes from white folks or if it comes from the men's, not all white people me, and not all men me. But here comes Tim Kaine with not all Amazon workers hate the company. Let's take a look at what Senator Tim Kaine had to say. And he might have got a little mud on the side of his mouth from licking all them boots of Jeff Bezos, or doing other things to Jeff Bezos that may have landed him some brown on his face, whatever floats your boat. Anyway, let's take a listen to Senator Tim Kaine from Virginia.
Mr. President, I don't challenge some of the facts that my chairman laid out or that you've laid out, and I think some compelling stories, but I don't think Amazon is an organized criminal syndicate.
It definitely is the way they treat their workers, sir, with all due respect.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that that's your opinion, and you are as sincere in stating that as I am in saying that I think that's a vast overstatement. Amazon employs 1 million Americans. Not everybody hates their jobs at Amazon. Tens of thousands of them work in Virginia. Not everybody hates their jobs at Amazon. Amazon's going to open a huge headquarters in Northern Virginia that was going to have 25,000 employees, but after New York said, we don't want you, it's going to be 35,000 employees in Northern Virginia, and Virginians are very excited about it. It's in probably the bluest part of Virginia, and the County Board of Supervisors, they're thrilled to have Amazon. Mr. Smalls, I agree with you. I don't care one whit about Jeff Bezos. I think the workers make Amazon go, and the customers, and customers that use Amazon, they use it because they think it's convenient. And during the pandemic, when they were at home and they didn't want to go to some places because they were worried about their health, Amazon usage went up. We can't wave a magic wand and make customers suddenly not like Amazon. So I would say I just don't see it. All the facts that have been laid on the table are facts that I'm going to now dig into with some of the others on the panel. But I think you have to acknowledge 1 million employees and customers that find Amazon to be, somebody good they want to work with. That is at least also a fact that has to be put on the table.
So let's be clear. Tim Kaine there advocating for Amazon, multi-trillion-dollar company, maybe not trillions. Amazon made a lot of money. Amazon made record profits during this pandemic and managed to largely not raise the wages of majority of the workers, and making the working conditions more hazardous, dangerous, and untenable for the people that work not only in the warehouses, but for those who drive the trucks. If you guys know people that have worked for Amazon, and I'm sure some of you do, because Amazon indeed will hire anybody, it seems, but the reason why they will hire a lot of people is because they burn out a lot of people. They turn over a lot of people. Amazon is not, or should not be, a career choice. The company doesn't really want you to be there long term. They don't want to have to pay you your worthiness of what your labor deserves to be compensated for, especially relative to the amount of profits that they make, right? So Amazon has gotten extremely wealthy over this pandemic, and workers generally have gotten poorer. And for the likes of somebody like a Tim Kaine, this is going to be where the Democrats are going to really run into a problem with messaging. Now, which is interesting is this. So Chris Smalls, while in D.C. Last week, he did meet with Joe Biden, and he tweeted about it. I didn't see a picture of the two of them together. But Chris Smalls tweeted, and perhaps I should have grabbed this tweet, but you can very easily go to his Twitter page. I think it's Shut Down Amazon. Is that Chris's Twitter handle? Go to Chris's Twitter page, and he tweets out about how he just met the president, and Joe Biden allegedly said to him, "You've gotten me in trouble," right? Referring to the comment that Biden made once the first Staten Island Amazon warehouse location successfully voted to unionize, and Biden got up in a speech the next day or 2 days after and was like, Amazon, we're coming for you. And it's like, nigga, nobody believes you. We don't believe you. But apparently Joe Biden told Chris Smalls that he got in trouble. In trouble with who, Mr. President? Who did you get in trouble with? Whom did you, the President of the United States, get in trouble with for pledging some half-assed allegiance to Amazon workers? Did the billionaires yank your chain, Mr. President? Oh, you're used to having your chain yanked, Mr. President. Oh, they've been yanking your chain since you was a senator, huh, Mr. President? Oh, got it. The billionaires just got to make one call and Joey B is in trouble. So there is that. But I wanted to highlight, I appreciate somebody like Chris Smalls so much. This was a independent black worker-led movement, okay? Straight up. Like, black folks did this, okay? They did this. And they did this amongst the greatest adversities. Chris Smalls was fired from Amazon. Chris Smalls could have spiraled into a depression. I mean, shit, who's to say he wasn't fucking depressed? But he powered through the shit. And I'm not suggesting just power through your depression, but I mean, there are different ways of coping with depression. Some people do power through, right? And look what he has helped to create. Look what all these thousands of Amazon workers have helped to create. And this wave that we find ourselves in of unionization, I think is going to continue to grow. But as you guys see, it is desperately needed. And I want us to switch gears, staying with the unionization efforts and, of course, worker actions. Okay, so there's Amazon. But where is this? Courtney, this was, how far are you from Weaverville, Courtney, Weaverville, North Carolina. This happened last week, and I found it so compelling. The clip that you guys are about to hear from striking Wendy's workers, fast food workers, our food service workers have been wholly neglected during this pandemic, where everybody else made money except for the actual essential workers, right? The people who were there providing food, those who were there cleaning, those who were there providing healthcare, childcare, right? These people are essential workers, got treated wholesale like shit, and were reminded that they are 100% replaceable. And but these Weaverville, North Carolina, Wendy's workers said enough. At the end of April, they staged a 7-day walkout of the Weaverville Wendy's. I don't know why I'm enjoying saying Weaverville. I don't know. I don't know. But Weaverville, not with the shits. I want you guys to take a look at this clip from More Perfect Union, where you'll see mostly women employees of diverse racial background, explaining to us the type of conditions, the kind of harassment that they have been subjected to, and they're not going to take it. They're not going to take it. They walked off the job. Let's take a look at what the Wendy's workers in Weaverville, North Carolina, had to say about why there's a middle finger to you, Wendy's.
We are out here today to fight against the harassment, the job harassment, the sexual harassment, all forms of harassment within this company. They need to know that what they are doing is wrong. They need to stand up, take care of their employees, get rid of these predators that they have got within this company.
That's right. That's right, girl. Yeah.
Come out.
You got this. You got it. You got it.
We have all received abuse from the general manager that they have got at Wendy's right now. We have received verbal, physical, emotional, and sexual abuse from the man that they have got running that store. He needs to be removed immediately. He needs to be made not allowed to go to any other company and be in this position to where he can make people feel like they're nothing and that they have to hide and not be able to stand up and protect themselves, not be scared to stand up.
That's right. Take your time, baby. Take your time. We got your back. We got your back. We got your back.
Who got your back? We got your back. back? Who got your back? We got your back. Yeah. He has called me a C word. He has called me stupid. He has called me retarded.
It's okay.
I have watched him put his hands on multiple females.
Arrest him.
He has thrown things at me. And he sees nothing wrong with his actions. He believes that what he is doing is okay, and it is not. He has no right to treat us with such disrespect, and he really needs to be dealt with, and Tar Heels needs to see this problem, and they need to stand up and do something, support their workers, get out here and take care of their workers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm over here about to get misty. Seriously, like I had to check myself. Like, oh my God, don't cry for this lady, because you could tell the sincerity and the authenticity. That lady ain't lying. That lady is telling her truth. You think she gonna walk out of her job for a week, not get a check at all? If these things weren't actually happening to her and her comrades. Shout out to Tay in the chat. Tay said, let me figure out how far I am from Weaverville so I can drive there and stomp this manager out. Stomp him out, Tay! Stomp him out. You calling your women workers cunts and giving them sexual harassment on the job, stomp him. Curb stomp that motherfucker. Curb stomp his ass. Real quick, from WIOS 13 ABC News in North Carolina, they have posted a statement from Tad Doblier, who is the CEO of Tar Heel Capital Corporation, which is the parent company of the Weaverville Wendy's, said that there is an ongoing investigation into the allegations of the workers, again, which include sexual harassment, verbal abuse, and two employees, or rather one employee, quoting from this WIOS article here, says one employee says that when she took her claims to the district managers, she was removed from the schedule. Quote, to know that people are letting it go and sweeping it under the rug, moving these general managers to different locations to hide what's going on, it's horrible, according to Wendy's employee Charity Bradley said. This is par for the course, gang, unfortunately. And I know we like to think that we live in a egalitarian society and that shit is equal for women, and I hope the events of the past at least week now have revealed, if you didn't already know, if you thought that shit was better for women, no. Just imagine that those women have the privilege to show up there, be underpaid for their labor, yes, and endure abuse and harassment. Oh my goodness, the progress. I'm here for all the progress. But seriously, please know that your food service workers, your grocery workers, your I was going to say sanitation workers, but depending on which sanitation workers, shit, a lot of the sanitation workers got good ass union representation. So, but that's not the case with a lot of these food service workers. They don't have union representation. We've talked about Red Lobster workers here. We've talked about McDonald's workers here going on strike for higher wages and better conditions. Please don't forget our hourly employees. Don't forget our food service workers, because they are amongst the most exploited, y'all. The most exploited. These corporations, especially food service, try to maximize their profit margins by understaffing their stores, by making sure that they pay lesser people, quote unquote, lesser people, women and people with disabilities, or even LGBTQ people, a lesser wage because they can. You know what I mean? It's very important that we try to support our workers who are in these conditions, and especially working these jobs that do so much to keep a lot of us going. Now, I know a lot of y'all go act like y'all don't eat Wendy's. Y'all lying. Y'all, if anything, you go and get a Frosty from time to time. I mean, I used to eat the shit out of Wendy's many years ago. I think I would literally die if I ate a sandwich from Wendy's right now. I might actually keel the fuck over. But I might fuck with a Frosty though. Maybe. Listen, guys, do me a favor. If you're not currently subscribed to the channel, take a moment and subscribe to the channel. I don't know if YouTube is out here hating on us or what the fuck is going on, because y'all be leaving glowing comments under the chat, under the shows, of which I deeply appreciate so much. But what the fuck? Is YouTube holding us back? YouTube holding us down? I can't figure out what's going on. I think we offer a very high quality product over here on the Burn It Down with Kim Brown channel. And do me a favor, please. Take a moment and pass the word, spread the word, follow us places around the internet. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch. I have been forgetting to shout out Twitch at BIDWKB. Shout out to Alaska D, aka Northern Witch, holding us down over on the Twitch. We love you so much, D. Thank you so much for your support. Let me take a moment to shout out my mods out here, Mod and Strong, Courtney the Stallion, Latif, Khaleesi's Dragon. I don't know if Chuck Diesel, Knight Rider, is in here today, but we're going to give Chuck Diesel a shout out regardless. Hold on, I see Afra in the spot. Hey, Afra, I got your text. I did not know Red and Meth was in town, Afra. And if you knew Red and Meth was in town, Afra, and you didn't inform me that Red and Meth was in town, Afra, we're going to have some words, Afra. We're going to have some words, Afra. Redman was in DC. How the fuck did I not know that shit? Oh my God, I am getting at that. Bitch getting old. Bitch getting old. Bitch, I used to keep Redman's calendar. Okay, Imagine that Redman was whole ass in Washington, D.C., and I did not fucking know that shit. I bet it's getting out. Yeah, so do us a favor, like us around the internet. We appreciate it. Shout out real quick. Shirley, thank you so much for your super chat last Friday. Jonathan Guerrero, thank you so much for your super chat, gang. Sometimes I see the super chats not in the moment and I see them after the fact. So please know I am so appreciative that you drop us a couple coins here and there. It really means a lot. And if I don't shout you out in the moment, it's not because I don't appreciate your money. I totally appreciate it. So please accept my thanks after the fact. Shout out to our new patrons. What's up to Kier and Bella? Bella is the doggy. Hi, Bella. And Kier, hi to you too, but you know I'm a dog person. I love dogs. And Bella might look up when Bella hears their name being called. So hello to Kier and Bella, and hello to Kayla. Kayla is a new patron, so welcome to our new patrons. If you want to support the channel on an ongoing basis, you can do so very easily at patreon.com/BIDWKB. We appreciate all that you do. Now, let me get to my main story here, guys, because as we are quickly recognizing and realizing, and people like Molly Shaw have been trying to tell those of us who are a little thick in the skull, that listen, your bodily autonomy for people who own uterus owner operators, baby, your autonomous management style may no longer be required because the government's finna step in. They finna step in. And let me be clear. The government has stepped in on uteruses lots of times in the past, okay? We have a long documented history in this country of eugenics, of sterilization, of Black women, of Latino women, of indigenous women, of women with varying levels of disabilities, right? America does this shit, okay? We do this shit. We interfere routinely in women's reproductive choices. Like, not even a fucking thing, right? And trust me, what was women doing before Roe? Dying, okay? They were dying. If they had a pregnancy that required some sort of medical intervention, for example, an ectopic pregnancy, no, women just died. They just bled to death. They just hemorrhaged. That's what the fuck happened, okay? And we are seemingly fast approaching a new time of that. Perhaps. I know Molly and other abortion promoting folks. I'm an abortion promoting folk because I think that women should have access to abortion and reproductive justice, including contraceptives of their choice, of their choosing, when they fucking feel like it. But quickly we're heading away from that. So where do I want to begin here? Let's start here. Let's start on the A2 there, Tunde. Let's start on A2 because, thank you, a couple of our folks did point out that Bitch McConnell had made this statement and that people were wondering why this was not getting more traction. So this is a piece from The Hill And this is from last week. I apologize. Let me, hopefully my quality didn't just diminish there today because I did pop up this article because I am a dickhead. I apologize. But, so listen to this. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said in an interview with USA Today that a national abortion ban is, quote, possible if Roe versus Wade gets overturned this summer. Quote, if the leaked opinion became the final opinion, legislative bodies, not only at the state level, but at the federal level, certainly could legislate in that area. Oh, boy. Oh, man, I bet you Mitch McConnell dick got hard when he said that, man. Like, oh, shit. Oh, I'm about to be in control of all these uteruses. I got big wood. I'm catching big wood right now. It just turned them all the way on. McConnell told USA Today when asked if a national abortion ban is, quote, worthy of debate. Quote from McConnell, and if this were the final decision, that would that was the point that it should be. That was the point that it should be resolved one way or another in the legislative process. So yeah, it's possible, he concluded. So Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader, formerly the Senate Majority Leader in the last days of Trumpy-Roo, who's a majority leader? His comment comes after Politico published a draft majority opinion penned by conservative Samuel Alito, indicating that the 1973 landmark decision of Roe v. Wade would be overturned. The decision deemed a woman's right to abortion was constitutional. So Mitch McConnell saying that if Mitch McConnell is saying out loud that it is possible, if he is telling USA Today and not Breitbart, or not fucking, what's them niggas, OANN. You understand? Like USA Today, in mainstream, I guess, news credibility, let's say that. USA Today is a quote unquote reputable outlet. I'll let you be the arbiter of that for yourself. But if he's telling USA Today that, Mitchie wants the world to know it. He wants, listen, you bitches are on notice, okay? Your owner operator ability of your own uterus, honey, is temporary, okay? That was a mistake that the court made in 1973, and baby, these conservative whites are here to set it straight, and emphasis on the whites, because again, it is the whites. It is the whites at every single part of this, on the state, the local, the fucking congressional, on the goddamn bench. And we're going to throw Clarence Thomas in there with the whites, okay? Clarence Thomas is a white, as far as I'm concerned now. No, he don't. Okay, nigga, all right. But the whites, he rides with the whites every time, does he not? You got to consider Clarence a white, right? Okay. So the whites, the powerful whites, have made, the decision has been made, ladies. The decision has been made. And I want us to take a look, okay. This is the piece that I want us to be concerned about. This is the piece that I want us to be concerned about. If you could pop up B1 for me, Tunde. And I have seen this ballied about on the interwebs. And there is enough of this out there that I find this credible. Okay, so the headline reads, CDC tracked millions of phones to see if Americans followed COVID lockdown orders. Now, that could be alarming on its face, and it is alarming on its face, by the way, which is a reason, on your iPhones, I don't know what it is for Android or for non-Apple phones, but they had the tracking shit, right? Where you could turn it on your phone and somebody was tracking you. Now, I didn't know who, which is why I elected not to enable that shit, because I'm like, I don't know who the fuck is getting this information. Who's getting this? Apple, the state of Maryland, Prince George's County? Like, anybody could be getting this shit. Is the motherfucker next door getting it? Like, who is getting all this information? I had questions, so I declined to participate in that. But listen to this. So, this is from the good folks at Vice.com. So what the CDC did was this. The CDC bought access to the location data harvested from tens of millions of phones in the United States to perform an analysis of compliance with curfews, track patterns of people visiting K through 12 schools, and specifically monitor the effectiveness of policy in the Navajo Nation Interesting how it always comes back to the indigenous and or black and women, right? Them threes, top targets for surveillance, right? I go on. So these documents, these according to CDC documents obtained by Motherboard. The documents also show that although the CDC used COVID-19 as a reason to buy access to the data more quickly, it intended to use it for more general purposes. More general purposes sounds very innocuous and very sinister at the same time. So location data information on a device, on a device's location is sourced from the phone, which can then send where a person lives, where they work, where they went, and possibly could de-anonymize the data. Now, the sort of data that the CDC bought was aggregate, meaning that it was designed to follow the trends that emerge from the movements of groups of people. Researchers, but researchers have repeatedly raised concerns on how these location data can be de-anonymized, and used to track specific people. There's a very good piece on last week tonight, maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago, where John Oliver basically actually is kind of blackmailing some members of Congress into doing something about that. Go check out his piece on that. It is hilarious and insightful at the same time. But here we go. The documents revealed the expansive plan that the CDC had last year to use location data from a highly controversial data broker called SafeGraph. The company that the CDC paid $420,000 for access to 1 year of data, holy shit, including Peter Thiel and the former head of the Saudi intelligence are among its investors, okay? Google banned the company from the Play Store back in June. Okay, this is where the shit gets a little crazy. Okay, so the CDC used the data for monitoring curfews, with the documents saying that SafeGraph data, quote, has been critical for an ongoing response efforts such as hourly monitoring of activity in curfew zones or detailed counts of visits to participating pharmacies for vaccine monitoring back in 2021. Well, guys, what you guys need to understand here is that when you have shadowy operators like Peter Thiel, and there are many others, again, the head of the Saudi intelligence, former head of the Saudi intelligence, I'm guessing he's not a white man, but could be. He could be. It is nothing but men. It is nothing but basically non-black, non-native people, to be fair to the Saudi intelligence head, but basically non-black, non-native folks, overwhelmingly white, definitely dominantly man, that is collecting this data. And if you think for a second that it's going to stop at the so-called innocuous, let's track people's behaviors about how they move and operate and comply with curfews and the like during pandemic lockdowns, honey. Abortion advocates are imploring women to please delete your period tracker today. Delete your period tracker today. Delete your ovulation data today. If you live in a state particularly that either has trigger laws in place for when the seemingly inevitable overturning of Roe versus Wade happens, or rather when the Supreme Court rules in favor of Dobbs, in Dobbs versus the Jackson Family Health Clinic, delete your shit, yo. Delete that shit now, because why wouldn't SafeGraph, or even Apple for that matter? I don't think none of these big tech people are good players in any of this. We already know that they will turn over your data to law enforcement if law enforcement asks nicely, right? They don't even necessarily always have to have a search warrant depending on where you live, right? Or even better, as John Oliver pointed out in I believe that same segment, why would police even go ask Apple to provide your phone data when they can just buy it? They can just buy it from a data broker like SafeGraph. They can just buy the shit that you visit, the shit that you have looked up, your location data, all kinds of extremely personalized information the police and law enforcement do not really require search warrants, or they don't have to go through the courts or go to a judge to get any of this information about you. They could just do what the CDC did and write a fucking check. They can write a check and they all in your shit. And women, please understand that the ways, so I mentioned this yesterday. Let me back up for a second. I mentioned this yesterday in our Disability Fire Fam chat, our support chat. It was really good. Thank you so much to Anna for all her due diligence and efforts, and everyone who joined. We appreciate that. But I said this yesterday, guys. I said this yesterday. The rolling back of rights, yeah. But Black and Native people have been dealing with this. Now, what makes this issue regarding the Supreme Court decision, pending Supreme Court decision, so scary for so many is that this is the first one that's really that's really hitting white folks at all, right? Voting rights is targeted towards Black people and brown people, specifically immigrants and indigenous people too. Voting is extremely restrictive for Native folks. It's not accessible. We visited this on this program before. So this Roe shit, this abortion shit, this is the first shit that not exclusively Black and brown people are feeling, right? And hence the freak out. And I get the freak out. I get it totally. The problem is, we've been telling y'all, the shit that they do to us, they will eventually do to you. They will eventually do to you. That 12-year-old who got murdered in Philadelphia, I mean, do you hear them murdering little white children? Like shooting them in the back like they did like Black kids. I mean, shit, Dylan Roof, this motherfucker shot up Mother Emanuel AME Church, and they went and took his ass to get a hamburger. You understand? Like, they don't do white kids like that. But they about to start doing white kids like that. And white women's, they about to start doing y'all like Black and Native women's, right? It is all about the hierarchy of power, right? And straight white men will always, so long as America remains in its current form, hopefully we can burn the bitch down, yes. But straight white men are gonna guarantee that they remain the apex of this race and gender hierarchy, right? And white women's, I know that the white women's is right there, number two, number two. But they will make sure that your ass stay number two, right? They don't want 1A, they don't want 1B, they want uno, dos. Dos is way below one. And this is the first one. This is the first time that white people, white women specifically, are feeling like what it feels like to have your rights rolled back. And I want us to take a look again, because you guys know I'm with the radical whites doing the shits, because again, that's the only way the shit's going to work. That's the only way America will ever have a proper reckoning of its atrocities, its crimes, and the shit that it continues to do to non-white men, right? The shit that it continues to do to non-white men is that there's going to have to be a reckoning, and it's going to be, I'm not going to say radical whites need to lead it, but goddamn, radical whites need to be present. They need to show up. They need to bring the numbers. They need to come on. And they was with some of this shit over the weekend, guys. You guys, I'm certain, saw the videos. If you didn't, please let me be the one to show you. It's going to be B3. You figured it. Yeah. It's going to be big B3 there, Tunde. So we're going to see a couple of clips. And these clips are from around the DC area this past weekend. The first clip is going to be the youngins outside of Brett Kavanaugh's house in Chevy Chase, Maryland, out in Montgomery County. I'm sure his neighbors were thrilled, thrilled to see their street being taken over by protesters. And the second clip is going to be again at the back of Kavanaugh's house. And the third clip is going to be the good folks stopped at Chief Justice John Roberts' house. Yes, that just showed Johnnie Roberts some love. And the last clip that we're going to see, I believe, is in Montgomery County. This is at John Roberts' house. John Roberts also lives in the ritzy part of Montgomery County, Maryland. And the last clip that we're going to see is the privilege of whiteness. Oh my God. Can they sell that? Is it like the Iron Man suit? Is it bulletproof? Like what? Like that white skin? God damn! Let me show y'all the end clip. The end of this montage of clips is the whiteness, y'all. It's the white organizer talking to the white cop, and they're talking in very calm and professional tones, and it is white man understanding fellow white man explaining something to his fellow white man, and it's all understandable. Yes, it's all understandable. Had it been Negroes out there, they'd have rolled out the tanks. They'd have rolled out a tank on John Roberts Street to clear the street of this rabbly bunch of rowdy Negroes. But nope, they just sent the police out there to calmly explain the law. And we're going to give you guys a chance to comply. But if you don't comply, I'm just giving you a warning. Just giving you a warning. It's amazing how that works. So please, let's take a look at these clips. This is the kind of carrying on I'm here for. Show up at these motherfuckers' house. Let them know that Anyway, I'm sorry. Today, I'm sorry. Go ahead and run those clips. Let's take a look.
I'm just advising you at this point in time.
Sure,
all right?
I'd love the statue.
Yeah.
Just for my own information.
I'll do it for you.
We'd like to say to our public servant, and we're going to do it peacefully, but
No opinion.
I appreciate you peaceful.
No opinion.
I will give you the statue.
walking. Are we
The legislature of the state of Maryland decided because of the higher expectation, you may not picket any single private residence.
As of when?
They give a higher, as of it's not a new law, it's years old. Been since I've been a police officer. I will just keep moving. There's nothing that says I have to tell you exactly what it is.
Can we get it now?
Okay.
Yeah, can we get it now?
Let me tell you something. I don't have to tell you what it is. I have to tell you it's illegal. All right. That's all I'm telling you. It's illegal for you to stop. I will find a statute for you. You guys start going. All right.
How far do we have to? If we just walk to that house and walk
I'm
back.
happy you're out here protesting. I think it's great to America.
You're obviously not.
I'm here to facilitate it, but I'm advising you, you may not do that. If you stay here, I'll start giving you orders, which could lead to your arrest. So I'd rather
Why
just
do you want
advise
to
you of it and
escalate?
keep
We're
going.
perfectly happy being right here.
That's what I'm trying to
That
explain
sounds
to
like
you.
an escalation.
Hold on 1 second. Let me explain to you. You may not stand in a single place. I'm going to walk away. I haven't told you that. If you decide to stop moving, that's on you. You may lawfully keep moving back and forth.
It's just a
And there's extra purpose. I didn't write the law. I'm telling you what the Maryland and state legislature does. All right? So,
You have discretion.
The whole world is watching. 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 My choice. My choice.
So I think some of you guys are accurately pointing out about the Senate authorizing some emergency legislation to make sure that the families of all the Supreme Court justices have 24-hour protection. I haven't heard about any threats to these people. Folks showed up on their lawn, on their sidewalk, at their house. And that is some shit that the people in power are not really accustomed to seeing. Yeah, all the little protests at the White House, yeah, that's to be expected. But come on. I assure you, Montgomery County Police was not prepared to run up in Chevy Chase to deal with a gang of unruly white folks. And clearly they were not unruly. These protesters were extremely peaceful. I didn't hear about no shit getting tore up. I didn't even hear about any arrests. So clearly the white organizers and the white police was able to come to an agreement to make sure that white folks didn't go down. But in the interim, more powerful white folks authorized emergency funding to make sure that the privileged white folks had more privilege, more security. They don't need to be bothered and harassed with the rabble, with the unwashed masses. And let's be clear, gang, there's a couple things here also. Was it 7 years ago? In that Planned Parenthood decision in Massachusetts regarding buffer zones around abortion clinics, yes, the Supreme Court ruled unanimously that anti-abortion protesters had a right to free speech. and that people who were seeking abortion services did not have a right to space, to have 30 feet worth of space in which they would remain unaccosted and unbothered and unharassed by those trying to dissuade them from getting abortions. So the free speech issue only applies to others. It does not apply to the Supreme Court members themselves. Apparently, we do not have a right to free speech to show up on their public sidewalks in their public, not gated communities, and demand some accountability. Because don't talk to us about Sharia law or none of that shit. Islam allows for abortions up to a certain point. Judaism is part of their actual theology, right? Like Jewish women have a religious right to abortions. But here we are, right-wing Christian extremist nation that is actually going to compel women to produce more children for the state. And that decision language floating around from Amy Coney Barrett, where she had explicitly said that the United States needs a bigger, quote unquote, domestic supply of adoptable babies. And y'all, and we know she means white babies. She means white babies. I know there's some white folks out here who have adopted black children, and I don't know if I want y'all to do that, but that's another topic. It's a whole nother conversation. But they mean white babies. They mean white babies. And white women, that be on notice. It is y'all's uterus that is the most prized out here. You dig? Like, it is the white women's uterus, the white women's childbearing abilities that are most coveted by the Supreme Court, by this government, by this right-wing Christian extremist movement that has been decades in the making. So let's not help them out, okay? We got to take it old school. Guys, I used to clock my period like religion, okay? Fortunately, I was blessed to have a very regular cycle. My shit was 28 days on the dot. So I would count on the calendar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just because I needed to know when to expect my period, or rather when I should be expecting my period, right? Like, monitoring your menstrual cycle is an essential part of women's health, okay? And we have been far too reliant upon these, you dig, to tell us things. So if you don't want the government to be legally buying your ovulation data, your menstrual cycle data, you got to delete that shit, baby. You got to just go and get you a regular ass calendar and mark it, period. period. And you got to count them days. You got to start counting them days. And just FYI, for those who may not know, the first day of your cycle is on day 1 of your period. So the first day of your period, that's day 1. Count out 25, 26, 27, 28, however many days your cycle is. And really, this is good information to know generally, just for your health, when to expect your period. And if you are of childbearing age, when you should be expecting your period. Because if the period is late, actions must be taken. The sooner, the better. It is very important to know if your menstrual cycle is late. Delete them fucking ovulation apps right goddamn now. And lastly, gang, the last thing I wanted to touch on here is going to be COVID. Remember COVID? Remember that whole COVID? That bitch was trendy. That bitch was trending for a couple years, and now COVID done fell off a little bit. I don't know what happened to COVID. COVID must have went away. Must have found a cure for COVID. I don't know what's going on with COVID. Psych, I know exactly what's going on with COVID. COVID is running through America, running through certain parts of the world. If you could pop up, this is going to be, I guess that would be C2, Tunde, just for visual's sake here. As of last week, the United States marked a very somber milestone of 1 million COVID deaths. Well, I actually think, you guys know what I think. I think that we probably hit 1 million deaths some months ago. I think we got to be rocking at 1 million, 1.1 million, 1.2 million, 1.3 million at this point. Who could really say? You know why? Because they are playing funny with the COVID data. They are playing funny with the COVID numbers. We have such a dearth of COVID testing right now for a number of reasons. One happens to be because COVID testing is no longer free. It's no longer covered by the government To the extent that it's covered by insurance, I'm not actually 100% sure. Perhaps those with insurance can enlighten us. But I told y'all my mama has insurance. And when she went in to get a COVID test, they said $150, miss. She said, what? I'm sorry, what? Oh, no, actually, that's a lie. They tried to run her $600. They tried to run her $600 for the COVID test. And then she said the white man came in with no insurance and could pay $150. So there's not a consistent standard with how much COVID testing is. I think I informed you guys that vaccines are now $50 and more. But we have 1 million deaths here in the U.S., at least reported deaths, 15 million deaths worldwide. And guys, at the end of the day, these are people that did not need to die, okay? These are people that would otherwise be alive were it not for an unchecked virus, were it not for a piss poor public health response by the United States, which started at the very tops of our leadership. And as much as we can blame Trump, and Trump can absolutely take a bow for a lot of this bullshit, Joe Biden came in, picked up the bullshit ball, and kept with the bullshit, right? He did not deviate very far from the bullshit. In fact, perhaps a case could be made that COVID does not look better under Joe Biden than it did under Donald Trump. But the fact of the matter is the Biden administration, we're unfortunately, I don't think ever going to get a very clear or accurate picture of what COVID is currently doing because the numbers are being suppressed. Jonathan Guerrero tagged me on a tweet from BNO News, and they have been doing a lot of COVID coverage. And the tweet that he tagged me on said that the district, right, I live very close to Washington, D.C., has not released COVID data for 12 days, 12 whole days. And this is not exclusive of D.C. A lot of local cities and states and even the federal government are cagey with these testing numbers. But healthcare workers are sounding the alarm. We're starting to see hospitalizations tick up. We are probably going to see deaths. But again, as I've pointed out on this show before, the ways in which COVID deaths are categorized in the coroner's office or the medical examiner's office or however, they're playing fast and loose with this shit. They are not fully counting all the people who have died from COVID. It's a miscount. It's an intentional miscount because the whole point is for America to be back open, for America to be back on track, right? And here's the thing, guys. Vaccinated people can catch COVID, okay? They may say accurately that your risk of severe hospitalization, severe illness, and death are drastically reduced. This is true. But I've seen too many anecdotal stories, but significant enough in number that we need to be paying attention. People in their 20s, people in their 30s, people in their 40s, people in their 50s, people who may have been vaccinated or who otherwise caught a so-called mild case of COVID or perhaps had an asymptomatic case of COVID. It's estimated I keep seeing this number go up too. 30 to 40% of all COVID positive infections result in at least one symptom of long COVID, ranging from brain fog, ranging from reduced lung capacity, ranging from organ damage to your lungs, your kidneys. I mean, the extent of the range of symptoms and potentially long-term symptoms of long COVID are still being discovered, right? These growing cases of these infants 2 years of age and younger contracting hepatitis through adenovirus and the ways in which all of these viruses are playing in together in conjunction. I mean, it's so dizzying what we're finding out about COVID and simultaneously so baffling at the lack of seriousness in which the media, the government, and Americans at large are taking the risk of these long-term symptoms, okay? I am scared to death of long COVID, y'all. I appreciate being able to walk my dogs for miles. I really do. I shout out my dogs. They have kept me somewhat in shape over the past decade and some change. They have kept me moving. And the people that I see in their early 40s like me, who have contracted COVID and are dealing with long COVID symptoms. These people say that they did not die from COVID, but the way that they feel right now, they wish they'd have died from COVID. Do you know how sobering that is? Like, do you know how much of a the fuck kind of statement that is? Like, god damn, like you survived, right? And that what the right wing likes to scream, well, 90% of the people who catch COVID survive it, bitch. If I survive it, but I can't get out of bed, if I survive it and I can't walk up and down the stairs, if I survive it and I can't take care of my child, or if I survive it and I can't walk my dogs, what did I survive? Well, what did I survive for? Maybe I wish COVID would have took me up out of here. But I need us, you, your community, your people, to not be playing with this shit. I know I keep underscoring it. I know. And I'm going to underscore it until the pandemic is over. And listen, unfortunately, I can't take Joe Biden's word that the pandemic is over. I cannot take Anthony Fauci's word that the pandemic is over. The irreparable harm that the nation's public health institutions have done to itself, I don't think is going to be fully realized for really some decades to come. But what I would like for us to do, I want you guys to please follow healthcare workers, nurses, doctors, people who are on the front lines of addressing those who are still battling this virus. I want you to follow them. Don't believe me. Let them tell you that hospitalizations are on the rise. Let them tell you all the funky new infections that they are seeing come along in conjunction with people who are testing COVID positive. Like, don't listen to me, bitch. I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on the internet. Listen to the doctors, because the doctors are out here sounding the alarm. But the problem is the doctors and the nurses and the healthcare workers who are like, ding-a-ding-a-ding, hey, y'all, no, this shit is still fucked up out here. They can't get any airtime over the promotion of this latest festival. Hey, there's a new festival that hasn't happened since 2019. What doctors? No, festival. That's all we want to hear about is the festival. So please. We lost 1 million people. So many of those people were black and brown. That's the reason why this country is moving on from this shit, because they view it as that's a Negro problem. That's an Indian problem. That is a Latino problem. White people apparently got the Iron Man suit for COVID. They can shake that shit off, right? And please, I don't have to tell our white people not to be them white people. They already know. That. But please, you're going to have to protect yourself out here, kids. You're going to have to protect yourself out here. If COVID hasn't revealed to you that we are truly on our own, we are on our own. We are on our own. And regardless of what your opinion is about the vaccine, I don't give a fuck. Wear a mask. Wear a mask. Social fucking distance. I don't care if people in public is talking shit to you about you wearing a mask. Wear your fucking mask with pride. Rob them niggas. Rob them. If they got something funny, sick to say about your mask, tell them, stick them up. Oh, you got something to say about my mask? Okay, well, stick them up then. But anyway, COVID is not over. You guys know that. Please do what you can to protect yourself out here and your family and your babies and your elders and yourself, because it's not a game. It's not a joke. You don't want to be stuck with long COVID. You don't want these pre-existing conditions to follow you for the rest of your life. You don't want to feel as though you had died from COVID. You want to fucking live. Who just ran us some bucks? Oh, man. Hey, what's up, Bronx Bad Gal? I like you, Bronx Bad Gal. You've said some very kind things to me in your comments. Thank you so much for your super chat. I certainly appreciate that. Gang, I'm going to turn you loose. More importantly, I'm going to turn Tunde loose. So listen, thank you all so much for your support, for your ongoing coming up here and kicking it with us on the live show. Please join us back here Friday. Hey, gang, if you saw them sisters with the Black Moms March who were on the Remix Morning Show last week, they're going to be with us on Friday. They're going to be with us on Friday talking to us about why we need to abolish the Child Protective Services system. Y'all, Courtney said this in the disability support chat. Y'all, them sisters lit a fire under me that I can't even explain. Like, that was not even an issue truly that was on my radar. But when they got up on the Remix Morning Show and started breaking it down, I said, oh God, like, I can't unhear what I just heard. Like, I totally heard how Black children are being kidnapped from their families, and I can't unhear that. So they're going to be with us on Friday. Like, I'm very, very excited about that. So please be sure to join us back here Friday at 7 p.m. for Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Hang out with me tomorrow morning back on Back Power Media for the Remix Morning Show. Of course, it's a good time had by all. On behalf of Tunde and Molly, I'd like to thank you all so much for your love and for your support. Shout out to my mods, Courtney Latif, Chuck Diesel, all of our wonderful, awesome Fire Fam members. Y'all are the shit. We will see y'all back here Friday. Love you guys. See y'all later. Bye-bye.